Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining in for our show, Conversation with Priya. I'm your host, Priya Mishra. Amit Thapa is the Chief Talent Officer and founder of Global Talent Agency, a business that connects great Australian businesses to top talent from around the world. He has over 15 years of experience in leading HR team and driving HR initiative across multiple markets, including delivering employee strategies and business transformation initiative in APAC. He has a master's in human resource and international relations merits, initial human resources strategy from the University of Sydney. He has a Bachelor of Economics degree from the Western Sydney University. He's the founder of chairman of the foundation in Nepal called Friends of Nepal Association. He is married with one son and lives in Sydney, Australia. So looking forward to talk to Mr. Amit Thapa today, our guest. Hello, Amit. Thank you for joining in. Welcome to my show, Conversation with Priya. Thanks for accepting.
It's my absolute pleasure, Priya. It's so nice to see you, and hi to everyone who's listening to us today.
Thank you. We've been going for a long time. Our friendship has been there for a long time. We've known for each other, and I have seen your journey a bit. I know what it takes, how much effort and time you have spent on that. I would like you to explain a little bit your journey. How did you start it? How all this concept is started for your business?
Yeah, thank you, Priya. That's a great question. I will try and be short because obviously it's a lifelong journey. So I might start where I came from. So obviously I've come from Nepal. And I came to Australia as a student, probably about 23 years ago, as an international student. My journey into Australia came through the student visa pathway. So I went to university here. And while I was studying, I obviously, like most students, had to, it was a rite of passage. I did all sorts of jobs And what that really meant was I became really agnostic to jobs. Work was valued in this country. And that really, looking back, that really set me for success in the career I had, a future career I had in corporate HR. Essentially, I did a bachelor's degree in economics. Whilst I had no pre-idea about being a HR person, because of the fact that I had come from a different cultural setting, I was able to relate to people, the job they did. I was linked that up back into my career, and that really helped me find my feet in a corporate HR career. So I spent about 15 years working in HR, starting with recruitment, and then moved on a generalist, HR business partner, strategic HR leader of fairly known international organizations, both internationally and in Australia. And I sort of reached the peak of my corporate career, and then I really wanted to do something more and go back to the roots where I'd come from and be of service to the people who really struggle to connect the dots between coming to a new country and finding gainful employment. And I thought, I've been on both sides. I might as well be useful to the people at large and have fun what I'm doing. So that's how the Global Talent Agency, the organization that I run today, has come about.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, I know you had a special passion for the people who are coming from the overseas, and you help them a lot to find their feet on this beautiful country we are living in. It is, of course, everybody says it's a land of opportunity, and we have experienced ourselves. Amazing story, and you have been telling us a lot of story from the different people come to this country and what they experience through you. What are the top qualities you look for when sourcing talent for companies, or in other words, how do you achieve the required synergy?
Yeah, that's a great question, Priya. And over all these years, I've thought about this a lot because I get this question all the time by candidates. They say, "Hey, can you tell me what do I need to prepare?" And what do you look for? And that's a really good question. What I've found in my own experience is, I always look to strike a balance between, obviously, a couple of things. One is the actual skill. You need to have the innate skill they're looking for. In Australia, experience also goes a long way. As you know, Australians, they want you to have some level of experience. But even more important is the overall fit. These skills are often easy to find, I find. And what companies are really looking for is the cultural fit and the values and mission alignment. And that is becoming more and more. And the unique X factor. We all are born different. And I think we need to be really confident. And I think if you're retrospective and you understand yourself, who you are, and find a way to present that X factor, I think people will really gravitate towards you. And other basic things, I always look for individuals, and when I'm coaching and mentoring younger sort of talents, essentially every day I talk to my clients, and the brief they ask me is a couple of things. They're saying, "Hey, I'm looking for someone with integrity.
Yeah.
Someone who's willing to do the right thing by you."
Yeah.
The second one is also looking to hire intelligent people.
Yeah.
When I say intelligent people, they don't need to be rocket scientists. Just someone who is willing to, go out of their way to and be well-rounded, find out more about the company, and bring that extra value, create value for the employer. That's what they're looking for. And the third one is, are you passionate about what you're doing? It doesn't really matter what you do. Particularly in this country, I found, it can lead you to a great career if you're actually passionate and have these things, integrity and intelligence in whatever you do. You can just be a cleaner, but you can have a very successful cleaning business, or and have a career like that. So those are the things I really, really encourage people to think about, reflect upon, and position yourself from those 3 points. I think that should really set anyone for in a good sort of state.
Yeah. I mean, as we discussed earlier as well, it's more of an attitude. If you have a right attitude, and if you are committed to your trade, your work, your bread and butter, nothing can stop you in growing. I mean, you have to be hardworking, smart working, but with the right passion, right attitude, and right intention, it will give you success, isn't it, Amit? On that.
Absolutely, Priya. I think in this country, in this economy, you need to have a flexible and open-minded attitude. You need to be willing to learn new ideas, embrace them as well. And I think that's what's going to make a difference, and that's what employers are looking for. Absolutely.
And what have been the major changes, whether it's talent retention, acquisition?
Yeah, look, I think no longer any good employer or a big employer can rely on their laurels to say, we pay you high salary and we've got great perks. I don't think that's enough in this day and age. There is still a talent war. If you're a top talent, there's a huge shortage globally for those sort of top talent. And I think more and more organizations who are able to attract and retain top talent are organizations who have a clear purpose, clear vision, clear values, clear leadership within the organization, but also making a social positive impact. And I think that's what individuals are looking for. You will get paid competitively. The perks are there, flexibility, all these jargons here, they're there. But at the core of it is, do you have a purpose? Are you a purpose-led organization? And I think, are you a socially conscious organization? I think that's what individuals are looking for.
Yeah. And I think it needs from both sides, and becoming a linchpin, no matter whether you do a business or you do a job, it's becoming a linchpin is becoming a crucial these days. And, you do have to have the value add, but you have to have that linchpin attitude. What do you
I absolutely agree, Priya. I could not agree more. And often organizations, all different organizations, let's say there are 100 organizations. 100 organizations will have 100 different values and missions and what have you. All you need is one job. Align yourself, be clear. First and foremost, actually, you've got to start with yourself. What are your own values?
Yeah.
What is your purpose in your life, and find the organization that really has a similar values and mission. And if you can find that, and I'm pretty confident you will find one, rest becomes so much easier. So you don't need to pretend, you don't need to fake, you don't need to all of that nonsense. All you have to do is be yourself. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
And
back in my career, that's where I had the biggest success, is when I found when your sort of career sort of fits and your life goals fits hands and gloves, everything becomes so much more easier.
And also it helps employer when they find the right fit and right values, the retention ability also increases. Like quitting, most of the people quit because the values are not aligned. It's just a challenge for both sides.
I absolutely agree. Every single employer that I talk to day in, day out, they said, look, obviously certain sectors or certain jobs, you need to have mandatory qualification to get there. Skills they're willing to teach you. Often every organization has their own way of, doing things and all of those things. And organizations are willing and able to train you on that. But it's that willingness. Do you have what it takes to learn? Are you open-minded? Are you not stuck in your old ways? And I think that is really, really the key here. Absolutely.
Yeah, that brings to my next question. Vocational skills are becoming increasingly important in today's workplace. Do you have any personal experience in this regard, and what are your views on that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really important question, particularly depending on our audience. If we've got audience coming from the subcontinent, it's really important. In Australian context, I think globally it's the case, but particularly in Australian context, if you think about a skill versus qualification war, skills will any day win in this country. It doesn't really matter how many masters you have, but do you have the skills to do the job? And often I see this in sectors such as engineering. And one of the first comment, I get really, employers say, hey, they've got great set of qualification, but are they able to do the job what's required? So i.e. goes to that limited skill. And I think in this country, if you have a vocational skill, you're passionate, and you've linked the skill with your passion, you will never be jobless. And with that, you can do anything. I wish as a young guy, I was brought up in the system where I had hands-on skills. Our education system, unfortunately, was not about that. It was very much academic and theoretical. But for the younger ones coming through the ranks and we're thinking about career future in Australia, I really encourage them to have some sort of hands-on skill that can easily be applied in any corporate jobs, white-collar job you do anyway. If you're hands-on with something, you're hands-on. Your ability to get things done, you become a natural implementer. I found myself, I'm a great visionary. I can do all the visionary stuff. I sometimes struggle to implement that. And that's a big learning I've had to go through. And I think if I can share my insight, I would definitely say, vocational trade skills, anything to do with skills is so important.
Yeah. And upgrading yourself, your skill with the time and adopt to the new era, new trend, it becomes crucial for any success rate, and that these days, if you notice, flexible working is gaining ground after the pandemic. What are the types of job that you see in demand these days?
Yeah, look, I think there's two contexts. One is the natural, type of jobs that we're seeing increasing. The other one is the short-term, the immediate, acute one that's been created by COVID related. So they're a little bit different. But I think generally where the economy is, where we are, and where the future is heading globally, and also from Australian macro strategic context point of view, if you think about the macro context, Australia still has a population that is not large enough to sustain the future standard of living in Australia, i.e., we've got an aging population, and there's a large group of baby boomers, who were born after 1965 coming to retirement. So there's not enough paying the tax. So from Australian government point of view, so that is a real area where they need to find more younger people to come to Australia, work, pay more taxes. And these retirees can have a, if you like, standard of living they deserve, right? So naturally what that means is and there'll be lots of jobs in the healthcare sector, health sector, i.e. nurses, doctors, particularly allied health is the area I would really encourage your audience out there to think about jobs like occupational therapy, physiotherapy, speech pathology, not just in nurses, but there's also lots of work in the disability sector, and that's been created with the National Disability Insurance Scheme. So, community type of work. So there's a lot of those sort of works. You can see, starting to really ramp up. So that's one. The other one is, Australia is still, very much wanting to be a knowledge economy, a service-based economy. So you will see, and with COVID particularly, you can see there will be a rise of jobs in the technology sector. Technology is here to stay. In the technology sector, particularly, cyber security type of roles, data science roles, artificial intelligence. These are the future of technology, right? Innovation technology, I think, and there will be those roles, there will be a growth. And also agriculture sector. Australia is still is a large country where we produce lots of food. If you look at the world, we've got a growing population in the world. That means more people need to be fed. And there are only places in the world who can do it, and Australia is one of them. So the future of Australia is going to be about that. If you're in agri-tech, agriculture, and I think you will see more and more jobs come in those industries and sectors.
Yeah. I mean, recent pandemic brought a lot of highlights on the timber industry, food industry, wine industry. There are plenty of work here. We just need to focus and align it in a right way. Australia is also working very closely with the Asia and India and other part of the world to bring uplift the game of the whole business strategically in a business arena. I'm assuming this, like right now, we have a lot of scope to grow in terms of, business, different aspects of the business. And I'm sure there are a lot of people required to handle those kind of growth we are going to gain in coming time. So there is huge in demand in many areas, you said, in the agriculture and all, especially. So flexible working is becoming, do you think bringing all that flexible working concept is going to work in this growing market?
Yeah, absolutely. But, flexibility goes on both ways, right? As much as there is flexible way of working, people also need to be flexible in their mindset. And if you've got a flexible mindset attitude, like, rest is easy. So it's not about where you do your work, like, what do you get it done? And I think, and that is just the future of work. That's just the reality that we live in. It doesn't really matter. You look at the conversation we are having, you are in one part of Sydney, I'm in other part. I may as well be in Fiji and it wouldn't really matter, right? And that is the reality of, the future of work, and it's here now.
Yeah. I mean, I was listening a couple of TED Talks around how the workforce is going to train, and see, contracting is becoming a more focused now. Like, there are a lot of people are looking for the short-term to long-term, employment, and people are looking for that kind of a flexibility from employees' side as well. Like, if you are available for a few hours and can give the same kind of a productivity and the honesty to your job, there are plenty of opportunity to grow in that aspects. What do you think about it? Like, how it is gonna grow I heard a crazy idea. Someone was talking about that people are looking for even like for half an hour, like coffee shop and all, like somebody wants for half an hour to fill in that gap. And if you can, there is a job,
Yeah, look, I think, I don't think we have seen the end of it all. We are just only, tip of the iceberg in terms of where this is heading. But I think you're absolutely right, because we've already seen in the IT sector, right, where IT consultants go and do their bit, get involved in a project, finish the project, and they actually don't want to work in a full-time work. They just want to deliver the project, have a little bit of rest, move on to the different project, because for them that keeps them active, fresh, their skills are upset, they get paid well. Like, they don't want to be bounded by the old traditional method of 9 to 5. role. I think there will be a place there will be a mixture of all those things. There will be some jobs that needs to have stability, security, and individuals who are looking for that. I think there will be a place for that, and there will be a growing, I think, industry, if you like, where it's a lot more flexible working or casualization of work, or a lot more work. I think you will see that happen a lot more and more and more.
Yeah. So that brings to my last question. What have been your cross-culture experience in connecting companies from various geographies?
Yeah, amazing, and a great experience. Actually, I was just reflecting, thinking about my own career, Priya. So when I first started into my HR career, I worked for a national retail company in Australia, and they were at that particular time, they were the biggest organization here. And I remember I was in that team. So we had a part of the recruitment HR team. We had a team of about 40 people, and I was the only person of a South Asian background, in that team. Funny enough, the actual general manager of that company, of our team, the big guy, was an Indian man, very smart guy. But in the doing bit, I was the only guy. Interesting enough, I used to get emails or applications from students from India. I don't know how my name got there. Hey, Amit, by the way, I'm thinking about applying for a student visa. Coming to Sydney. I hear you can help. Can you help me? I'll be coming in March. So that's where I started. And I remember, my job started by. I used to fill night fillers and what have you in the Sydney supermarkets, right, 25 years ago. And I used to line them up even before they arrived here. So, part of that journey was actually talking to the store manager here in retail business, saying, "Hey, I've got, I'll use the name Sri coming from Bombay. He seems like a real nice guy, really energetic. He's shown passion. I think he's willing to do any shift. Can you give him And it was really about bringing these guys up to speed. That there's a young generation of students coming through, and these are the ones who will fill the vacancy that we can't fill. I started my career that way, and now today what I do is just an extension of that. Because my current role is I really enjoy working with SME, which is small medium businesses in Australia. They are great Australian businesses. They've never ever in the past considered employing foreign nationals or global talent, because they just think it's for the big operators of the town. And what I've done is and what I'm really passionate about is really making the process really simple, easy, and giving the confidence with all my years of experience, but also opening the doors they would have never thought about accessing talent. I have recently placed individuals, example from India working in the Middle East, UK qualified, to an employer here in Sunshine Coast, and they're going to be the first foreign national or Indian national they would have ever employed for them. And there are lots of those sort of companies. And part of my job is to really bridge and facilitate that. From a candidate's point of view, they also get frustrated. They apply for this role and they don't know whether they're going to be paid well, whether they'll be interested in their career aspirations. Whereas on the employer side, it's a huge investment on their part. So what I do is try and really bring the barriers down and connect those two, and it's really satisfying.
Yeah. I know you have been helping a lot of people, and there are a lot of case studies we can vouch for, and the story and the journey that people have gone through. This is an endless story, and the journey is continued. And I'm sure there are a lot of people are gonna get opportunity through you. A couple of I know gone through your journey, so it's interesting to see how you are creating that synergy between two and which was earlier not possible. Even when I came, it was not possible. I did not came on a student visa. I came on a work visa. It transferred through my company, but it is adoption. Like people were adopted to the foreign, people coming and helping them into their workforce, the talent which was not available locally, which is good. It's opened up a lot of opportunity for both ends. to grow.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Priya. With my conversation on both sides, what I find is when I talk to an employer, when I talk to them, they're like, "Oh, we never thought about that," and for them it's so new. So I think I can be that warm, assurance, saying, "Hey, I'm not just someone here trying to scam them, but actually I've got a product, and now they can talk to fellow other clients and get their feedback, and that helps them build their confidence." Equally, I think because from a candidate point of view, I was a migrant in this country. I was relatively young then, naive, foolish in so many ways. But I can share them my journey and say them, "Hey, your qualification is valid here. Your skill is also, well regarded here. Why don't I find an employer, that's willing to recognize that?" And for them also it's a big relief. So I think, so I've sort of been in a really fortunate previous position that I found my niche and sweet spot where I can connect the two dots very naturally. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. So thank you for joining in today, and we will be looking forward to hearing more from you in the future. But this journey ends today, and we will give you all details on the below if people wants to reach you out from here or overseas, and you can help them in finding their right opportunity. Both sides, it's open, and all your website, and you are very active on social media. I know, especially on Facebook. So the details will be given here, isn't it? Am I right, Amit? You'll be fine. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm very happy to help. And if people just have one question, if you think I can help you, I'll be very happy to do that for you. And I really, again, want to thank you, Priya, for this opportunity. And good on you for doing this. I think, more we can share our own knowledge, insights with others, I think it's better for everyone. And really thank you.
I'm sure this world will go out, and the people will actually follow you and ask questions. Plenty of questions they can leave on the comment. Thank you so much for joining in today.
Thank you, Priya, and have a great day.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done it. To know more about us, visit www.corporality.global. And also you can find more about Priya Mishra is on priya.sydney.